Hello everybody and welcome to this video about how to build your Market Profiler workspace for the first time. So I'm going to show you two ways to do that. The first way to build your workspace is with a template that has been provided when you downloaded your product. We provide template for at least two market, the crude oil futures traded on the NYMEX, as well as the E-mini S&P ES from the CME. We may provide from time to time other templates, but at the time being, these are the only markets which will provide template. So if you trade one of these market, you will be able to create your chart with the template. This is the easiest way, and the other way is obviously creating your chart from scratch without any templates. So we're going to start first creating your workspace with a provided template. I'm going to use the crude oil futures as an example. So the first thing you have to do is create your workspace. So from the NinjaTrader 8 control center, you click on the workspaces and you have a new button there. You just click on new and they're going to ask for a name. You give it a name. Here I'm using a test workspace, but you give a name for your own workspace and that's it. We can start now building the market profiler chart. So I'm going to create the chart first. So from the NinjaTrader Control Center, you click on New Chart. I'm going to choose here CL. There are three properties that have to be set properly. Under the data series, the type has to be minute here. The value has to be 30 because market profile is based on 30-minute chart. And the days to load should be set at the minimum 25 days. So once the type, the value, and the days to load is set properly, we can apply the template. So right from the top here of the window, we have template for ES Market Profiler as well as CL Market Profiler. So I'm using crude oil as an example here, and that's the template that I'm going to use. And you click on OK, and the chart will be created automatically and ready to go. That's really the easiest way. So now after that, you can save your workspace and your market profiler is now ready to be used with your newly created template workspace. Sorry. So now I'm gonna just delete that chart, and I'm gonna show you the second way to build your chart with your first chart with Market Profiler. And here I'm gonna use the euro currency as an example. I don't have any template for the euro currency. So we will have to build it from scratch. Again, I'm clicking here on New Chart to create the chart. I'm going to select now 6E, which is the euro currency futures. I want to be sure that the type is set to minute, the value to 30. I need at least 25 days to load. And as I do not have any template here, I will have to set the trading hours as well. And for that, I have created my own trading session for the currency that I called Dalton Currency Chicago session. If you want to know how to create your own custom template, session template for your own market, I have recorded a video about that. So, and it is available through the video how-to button from the top of your Market Profiler chart. So I'm going to click here on OK. And what we have now is, a chart of the euro currency without any indicators, but everything is set properly now to include the indicator. We right click on the mouse, indicators, and from the window here, it should be under a folder called Pro Suite Gold, and you should have the Market Profiler indicator there. You double click on it to make it active, and from the we're gonna have to change here the background color from blue to slate gray -WB background color, and this is the skin that we have provided with your product. Obviously, you will probably want to load the overnight as well, so you're gonna have to check that box, load overnight, and you will have to enter here your overnight session template name. Again, I have created my own session, trading session for the overnight session for currency that I call Dalton Currencies overnight session. And after that, that's it. That's the only thing you have to change from that window indicators here. I'm going to click on OK, and it will apply the chart. Now, we will have to change here a few settings for your own market. You click on the Properties button to get to the Property Grid. Here I'm going to change a few settings to get bigger font. Here we are. I have set here the Property Grid column width to 300, the Property Grid font size to 16, and the Property Grid width to 500. So we have bigger font there. So from the volume profile type tab, everything is fine there. We go to the structure, and we probably you will have to change some properties here, more adapted to your own market. And I'm talking here about the minimum halfback tick range. By default, it is set to 8 ticks, but it could be different from your for your market. And this is the range at the start of the session that we need to see before starting drawing the halfback line as a reference. Here, this is the pour extreme maximum thick. Pour extreme are the pour high and pour low. How maximum ticks we need, single ticks that we need to be printed to be considered as pour extreme. Here, the number of TPOs at the POC to be considered as prominent. You may have to change that. The minimum ticks that we need to be to consider a tail as a buying or a selling tail, and how many TPOs at the POC to be considered as very prominent. So these properties probably will have to be changed to be more adapted to your home market. The weak references category here. So things related to the weak reference. How many ticks do we need to reactivate the weak reference? What it means is that, for example, here above the high, no, that's not a good example. Let's take the VWAP here. If we're trading from above and we're trading down to the VWAP, it could be considered as a support, as a weak buy, for example, if we bounce out of that levels. But if we go through, how many ticks do we need to go to trade lower to now be considered as a resistance on the other way? So that's what it means here by reactivate ticks. The weak reference ticks is the number of ticks that we have to trade close to the line to be considered as a good weak reference. Obviously, one is very small here, probably a lot too small for the euro currency here. So this could be a change also according to your market. Now, under the display, we have the decimal under the configuration category that may have to be changed according to your market. Like the euro, here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 decimals instead of 2. That's why we're saying only 2 there, because by default it was set to 2, so I need to change that to 5. Other than that, we have the scaling factor here. As the market is more volatile and we have less and less space to print out these letters, we see a block when it is too volatile like that. You may change this behavior with these two scaling. You're going to have to probably play a little bit with that to set the best display for your market. Other than that, everything about the split profile is fine. Everything here about the profiles is fine. Under the day, maybe here under the reference settings category, the single print minimum required, how many TPOs of single print you need to be considered as a single print. I don't think I have an example here. Yes, here, as you can see, we have a single print right there here. So how many single print do we need to be considered as in an area of single print that could be considered as resistance or support? So you may have to adapt here the number of the number of single print for your own market, and the ticks through tolerance. This is the number of ticks that the market could go through the level without nullifying, the reference. So again, it could be different for your own market, and that's about it. Everything else is fine. So those are the things that you have to consider when you do not have a template to apply, and that's the way that you have to build your chart for the first time. So don't forget to save your workspace when you leave to make sure that it's going to be safe for next time you open the workspace. So you go to the work, you could save your workspace just by choosing here your workspace and click on save like that. But also you can save as you close your workspace. If you close your workspace, you can have here a message. If you want to save your workspace, you click on yes, and that way you have kept your um, workspace safe for future reference. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching and good trading.